These guys are stacked as all hell. Picking up several stars from previous years, these guys have slotted themselves nicely into the championship conversation. But who exactly are the new pickups and how good are they? Let's dive in. Starting off with the DPS line, they signed Stalker from the Seoul Dynasty and Lip from the Shanghai Dragons. Stalker is a bit of a prodigy, being very hyped up from contenders ever since 2019, and he was still able to make a splash this year despite being on the same team as motherfucking Prophet. He's a true hyperflex, taking over the hitscan role of Sojourn and Ashe from time to time, even over Fitz, and he was a top Genji in the Summer Showdown. His Tracer and Echo certainly aren't bad either. Now that he has a starting spot in the league, he can truly shine, and we can see what he can do.
So flying a little bit too close to the sun there was Smurf. It's taken out, but Stalker going to alleviate some pressure. Gets rid of Jinmu out of the skies. Does get jumped on. Now him gonna fall, but here comes the overclock. Manages to find one. Leave. Domed. He's pushing forward. He's looking for Gaga. The shot not quite gonna shine. Yet again with a rail. Takes down Vindheim. He was getting ready to have that beat at the ready, but Stalker pulls out the blade, and this time it's finding so much value.
부착! 회전하고 집결까지 왔어요. 킹도 지금 먼저 끊었고 포커싱 주도할 수 있죠. 그렇습니다. 이번에 스타크.
Now Lip, he's a massive pickup. The 8'7" gaming warlord, 3-time damage roll star, best soldier, and Sojourn in the game by stats. He is an absurdly dominant player, absolutely taking over games at times on the Soldier, Sojourn, and Widow, often the X Factor, and for a very rough year for the Shanghai Dragons.
And they're pounding the fronts, and Lip, he does the same thing every fight. Zest, MN3, Aim God going after the dog too.
What a start. Diving again. What? Are you kidding me? Violent! He was wall riding, he was boosted up, he was sliding across, and Lip just says, nah, it's an easy track for me. Striker is trying to get on top of him, but he's got no HP, so he just dies. His fate joins in, holds the door, making sure they can't get on top of Lip.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Lip is
By the way,
is okay.
that's a shot. That's actually huge. Infrasight now, surely, as they push through the final corner. That's the perfect timing for an Infrasight to be about now.
He hasn't gone for it, but he nails the follow-up. Huge plays from Lip. That's what they've been lacking. Now he finds it. Looks for Violet, catches him.
This DPS duo is extremely strong, to the point of potentially being the best in North America. Lip is obviously absurd, and with hitscan being as strong as it has been since Overwatch 2's release, he's obviously a huge grab. And Sakura's ability to be above average to elite on basically anything he touches makes his team hugely meta-proof. I give this DPS line a 9 out of 10, only missing a point because Stalker isn't as dominant on some of his picks as other flex DPS, such as, Proper, Kevster, Leave, etc. But I'm still super hyped for these guys. Next up, the tank line. This team only has one tank, that being a holdover from last year, Hawk. This is a bit more questionable, but still good. Hawk was arguably elite last year, with crazy good stats on D.Va, Junker Queen, Doomfist, Sigma, and Orisa, but there are definitely gaps in his hero pool. I know he didn't play much and didn't really suit the ranged playstyle, but Hawk's Zarya stats are very low, and he did not look too impressive on her from the eye test either. His Winston, while better than I expected, was not very strong, and his Rein, let's not talk about his Rein. Overall, I think he's an elite player with some obvious gaps in his hero pool, but realistically, I think the only thing he really needs to grind is Winston. I think his Zarya is already decent, he just didn't have a good showing. I have faith in him. I think he has the drive and mechanics to pick up anyone, especially now that he has an offseason to do it. 8 out of 10 tank line. Next is supports. Reign have re-signed Vigilante and then signed Fielder and Chio from the Dallas Fuel to round out their roster. Absurd support line. Absolutely ridiculous. Vigilante was hyped up as one of the best flex supports from contenders, and he was absolutely popping off on the Reign in the Countdown Cup after being freed from Justice and Brig Jail. Phenomenal Ana, insane Zen and Brig, incredible all-around player, who could start on any team aside from this one, where we have double role star and recent Overwatch League champion, Fielder, to cover that. Alongside another role star and Overwatch League champion, Chio. Chio and Fielder were arguably the best backline last year. Chio was considered by most to be the best Lucio in the world, with insane synergy with the Fuel Core, and played perfectly alongside Fielder, whose incredibly top tier Ana, Brig, and Kiriko helped lead the Fuel to 3 finals appearances and the Grand Finals victory.
To save Harbin. Kills are still coming through though, as the Atlanta Reign holding on to this point by the skin of their teeth. Harbin refusing to die just yet.
Oh, it could take down Dylan from the other. Dante finds Sparkle! And early pickup on this as well.
Oh, they get the sleep across, they're looking for the headshot. I think I'm low enough to be able to get the elimination. Zest, however, did fall. Chio with the shield bash. Takes down the enemy. Genji now gets fixed with a whip shot. And it's going to be a bloody brawl back and forth.
The only weakness for these guys was Chio struggled to pick up the flex supports, but now they have an arguably top 5 flex support with them to cover that weakness. Absurdly good support line, absolutely dominant, best in the league. 10 out of 10. Finally, the coaching. This probably has the most questions surrounding it. Gator has been promoted from a player to the head coach of the Atlanta Reign, and they picked up Wizard Young from Seoul as his assistant coach. Honestly, not a bad staff, though there are a ton of questions. Gator is a rookie coach and frankly a pretty mediocre player. Sorry, Reign fans. How can you say he's not bad? Gator has had a big leadership role within the team for a while now, and Sephi and Kai have both vouched for him. I think it's a really solid option, but it's a rough spot to be in. This roster shows anything other than complete domination, the pitchforks are going to be out mainly for him. We've also seen some lackluster performances from rookie coaches before. We've even seen Toby struggle to adapt in certain high-pressure situations like the playoffs. But we'll see how Gator does. Wizard Young is a great pickup, though. He was head of strategy in a very strong year with the Dynasty, and is a very experienced coach with a history of success outside of Season 2, of course. He's also bilingual and can act as a translator for Gator. Overall, maybe a 6.5 or 7 out of 10 coaching staff. Obviously, we don't know anything about how good of a head coach Gator will be, and I have trust in him. But when coaching was such a big deal last year, and other rosters are now similarly stacked to Reign's, the coaching could be an X factor in many situations, as Gator is certainly no Krusty, Rush, or even Dongsu, Hunter, Christopher. But overall, this is an insanely stacked team that should have no problem as being a top contender. While Hawk needs to grind some main tanks, and I don't fully trust Gator, I have faith in those two to pull through, and honestly, unless Gator does literally everything wrong, the roster is talented enough to finish top 5. My final rating for the team is an A, and my prediction for the season is going to be a top 3 finish in North America, and probably globally, and a stage title win, if not winning the entire season. These guys are going to be contenders from start to finish. It's time for North America to learn the wrath of Lip. Thanks for watching.